Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Welcome to part 2 of growing desert bonsai. Today I'll be creating a brand new jade forest using two plants I've had for a long time and a new cutting that I got from Connor. I'll also be answering a question that I get asked a lot, and that's how do I grow moss on my dry succulent desert trees? This coming up today in the Bonsai Zone. Moss is a plant that doesn't have any actual roots that draw moisture up from the soil. Instead, the plant relies on moisture externally applied, dew, mist, and rain, and it's soaked in through the pores in the leaves. Moss is a plant that can survive all kinds of different weather conditions. They can survive the minus 24 degrees Celsius winters of Canada. They can survive the heat of the summer. They can survive drought. So they're a very tough and resilient plant. Even though moss is a really tough plant, it can be really hard to grow and keep green on your bonsai. Moss doesn't just grow under any conditions. It needs the right kind of soil surface to grow on. It needs the right kind of light, the right humidity, and a regular watering. Moss in nature naturally gets watered twice a day just by the morning and evening dew. I give my moss a misting at least twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. So I just get a hand sprayer like this and just give the moss a spray. I also spray my desert trees because they also go through that dew cycle twice a day. Many of these succulent trees can also absorb water through their leaves. And that's all it needs. By lightly misting my trees twice a day, I'm not putting any actual water into the soil. It's just soaking the surface of the soil where the moss is, and it quickly evaporates later in the day. In the winter time, when the plants are indoors, I very rarely water the trees thoroughly. I don't want to soak that soil because it takes too long to dry it out. In the summer, when there's wind blowing and it's warmer temperatures, the soil naturally dries out quicker, so there's no danger of root rot. In the winter, if you were to soak your soil, it might take 3 or 4 weeks before the soil starts to dry out again, and your roots would be sitting in that wet soil, and they could start to rot. Moss, like any other plant, requires the proper amount of moisture. Too much watering, and the plant will die. Too little, and it'll dry up and go dormant. When the trees and your moss are outside in the summertime, you'll have to adjust your misting schedule from twice a day to maybe up to 6 times a day. In the heat, in the dry, hot weather, the moss will dry out, so you don't want to keep it wet again, but you do want to mist it more often, so maybe every 2 hours, and that should keep it fairly happy. It is really hard to stop it drying up in the summer. Even at the best of times, if you're misting in that, and you have a really dry, hot day, the moss will just start to dry up and go dormant. And that's okay. That's just part of the life cycle of moss. When the cooler weather returns in fall, you'll notice your moss will green up again and look really happy. If you have your trees and your moss growing in a good free-draining bonsai soil, there's almost no danger of overwatering your trees and your moss. I fertilize my moss just the same as my bonsai. I put a little pinch of fertilizer in every spray bottle. So when I'm spraying, I'm also misting and fertilizing at the same time. When I'm watering my trees and my moss, I always use rainwater. If you use water that's heavily chlorinated or has a lot of lime in it, it won't be good for the moss. It'll build up this white layer on the moss, and it could kill the moss off totally. Outside it's better because it regularly gets washed by the dew and the rain. But inside I'd highly recommend using rainwater or distilled water to water your moss. Next we need to talk about the amount of light that moss needs to grow. When I'm selecting moss to grow on my bonsai trees, I always pick a moss that's growing in full sunlight. It's usually collected from cracks in the sidewalk or driveways that are out in full sun. You know that moss can take the full sun of being underneath a bonsai tree. If your moss is growing really well outdoors in the full sun, and then you bring it into a house that's too dark, you can't expect your moss to live. So you need to supplement your light with grow lights or have it near a nice south-facing window. The last point I want to talk about moss, and it's perhaps the most important one, is the amount of humidity in the air. If you live in a home with a forced air furnace, you'll find your air humidity is really dry in the winter, and your moss will turn brown and it won't grow. So you need to put your moss and your trees into a little mini greenhouse. Many of the box stores sell a window greenhouse now, or a little small greenhouse that you set up near your window. Or you can go online and you can find the instructions for making your own. This jade cutting that Connor gave me has been bare rooted for over 2 months, and it looks really healthy, and that's just because it's nice and humid in the plant room here. The roots on your succulent trees will follow your watering schedule. If you water the trees really deeply, the roots will grow down to the bottom of the pot. If you water just by lightly misting the surface, all the tree roots will grow along the surface of the soil. I think that's a better solution because you'll get nice surface roots and you can put it in a shallow bonsai pot. It's easy to control the amount of watering that your succulent trees and your moss get when they're indoors, but when they go outside in the summer, it's a different story. In the summer, I like to keep my trees on a steady watering schedule. I water them thoroughly and then I let the soil dry out. When the soil's dried out, I water it thoroughly again and just keep repeating this cycle. If you leave your trees outside in the rain, it can mess up this watering schedule and your soil may stay too wet for too long, and it could lead to root rot and the death of your trees. When it looks like it's going to rain, I always take my succulent trees and move them into the greenhouse until the rain has stopped. This keeps them on a regular schedule of thoroughly soaking the soil and then letting it dry out. One last thing, when you're bringing your succulent trees from outdoors to indoors for the winter, make sure the soil isn't soaked, because when the trees are indoors, they won't use the water like they did outdoors, and it could stay too wet for too long, and you might start getting root problems. If you notice your leaves are starting to get wrinkled and some of them are falling off, you're probably underwatering, and you may want to start misting them a little more. That concludes our tech talk on growing moss underneath your succulent trees, and also some general tips on growing your desert bonsai. It's time now to start planting my jade forest. I'm going to be using these Gollum type jades. They have a cylindrical type leaf on them, and they can look really nice as they get old. As a jade tree gets older, the bark changes from a green color to a nice silvery gray color, and it can actually get some texture on the bark. Jade trees can survive in very small pots. I've seen giant jade trees growing in little tiny pots, and the health of the tree looks really good. Many people are reluctant to repot jades because they're extremely top heavy. When you repot them, they tend to tip over in the pots. That's what happened with Connor's tree here. The cutting was placed in this pot, and on the car ride over, it just tipped over and fell out of the pot. And I've just never repotted it. There's a few broken branches here I can repot. There's another one here. Yeah, so we've got several trees to put in this forest. I'll be planting the jade forest in this gray clay pot. It's a really nice pot. I really like it. I got it fairly inexpensively because there's a few little tiny cracks in it. They're not cracked all the way through, but they're just starting, a few maybe stress cracks or something. But I think it'll do really nicely for an indoor tree like the jade forest. There's a shot of the crack just going across the corner here, and it stops just inside the lip here. And it also stops on the edge here, so it's just kind of a bit of a stress crack, I guess. But for an indoor tree, it should do fine. I don't think that crack will get any bigger. My first step will be to get some screens and some soil in the bottom of the pot. I've got my screen in the bottom of the pot, so I'll start adding my soil. I filled the pot up to a nice planting height, The roots can sit on top of this soil, and then I'll fill in more soil to secure them in the pot. My next step for repotting jades is to defoliate the trees, taking as much weight off the top of the tree as possible so they're more stable in the pot. To defoliate the jades, you can either just pick the leaves off, which is probably easiest, or you can cut them off near the base of the leaf with scissors. I finished defoliating all the jades, so now I can see the structure really clearly and I can go in and do my pruning. Pruning the jades will further get more weight off the top of the trees, and now that I can see the structure, I can get rid of a lot of these really long branches, reducing them down here. Making the tree more compact. And I think I'll take the top part off this branch, put it off here. I might even take this one back further. I think I will. To there. So I got a nice apex, a lot of nice side branches. It's nice and compact. I'll just take this back a little further too. There. That's looking good. And again, these would all grow as cuttings. I'll keep them in case I need more trees in this forest, but I think I'm okay. So the next tree I'll do is this one. And again, I'll just reduce all these long branches back, make the tree more compact. That looks pretty good on that one, I think. The next one is also very tall, so I'm going to reduce it back to here, to here, to here, here, and here. I think that's good for that one. The rest were just, you know, pieces that broke off this main tree. So basically cutting. So I'll keep all my choice of cuttings back here in case I need some smaller trees in the forest for some variety. The main tree is already out of the pot, so I just need to rake out what roots there are. You can see it was a cutting. You can see there's no roots on this side much, but they'll develop. So I'll just try and rake out these roots and get them as radial as possible. There, that's good for that one. Next I'll get these trees out of the pots. I'll have to loosen them up, they're just very tight in here. These were cuttings that I got from Lessick many, many years ago. And I think they've been in these pots for over 5 years anyway. Definitely full of roots here. There it comes. Yeah, a good firm root ball. All right, let's get this other one out too. Now this one I repotted more recently. So, and I think I repotted this one maybe, 3 years ago, I think. Now this pot does have a bit of a lip here, which always makes them a little harder to get out of the pots. So I've kind of got to soften the soil up around the lip of the pot there. That should come out now. There it comes. Yeah, so you can see that root ball wasn't quite as root bound, but it's still full of good, healthy roots.